Banging out a quick game this morning. I was going to play by myself, but I said, we've got these fine folks who sometimes like to watch a little baseball in the morning, and just figured I would get one rolling. So, give me one sec here to get myself set. And without further ado, we'll have a little Kansas City Royals at Detroit Tigers via April 10th, 1977. Actually, this is not a bad set. It came out better than I thought it would. We've got Vern Rule on the mound for Detroit taking his warm-ups. He'll be backed by a Tiger lineup that looks like this. Ron LaFleur in center. Batting second, Tito Fuentes playing second. In right field, batting third, Ben Ogilvy. The designated hitter, Rusty Staub. Jason Thompson plays first base and bats fifth. And left, it's Steve Kemp batting sixth. The catcher, Milton May, bats seventh. Batting eighth, third baseman Aurelio Rodriguez. And batting ninth, the shortstop, Tom Veryzer, if I'm saying that correctly. And they'll be facing a lineup for Kansas City that looks like this. Leading off at third base, it's George Brett. The designated hitter, Hal McRae, bats second. Batting third, first baseman John Mayberry. In center field, it's Amos Otis batting cleanup. The catcher, Darrell Porter, bats fifth. In right field, Al Cowens batting sixth. The left fielder, Pete Lecoq, batting seventh. Shortstop, Freddie Patek, not sure how you say it, batting eighth. Patek, I think it's Patek, there we go. And Frank White, the second baseman, batting ninth. We're, of course, in Tiger Stadium, which is just off your screen here, but if you're wondering about the ballpark effects, we've got a pretty good wheelhouse, 1-77 versus lefties and 1-66 versus righties. So it's a homer-friendly park. Well, Rule looks like he's done with his warm-up pitches. We'll try to contain these dice rolls to a reasonable area. You can already see that'll be a problem, so, well, that's all right. We'll figure it out. And Brett steps into the box for the first at-bat of the game. All right, so we've got a 5-68. That's patient right-handed. 68 is going to be a ground ball to shortstop. Veryzer is there and fires over to first. Thompson with the catch. And Brett is retired, 6-3, for the first out of the game. Here's Hal McRae, the designated hitter. 448, that's tough. And this one is aligned, but right at the second baseman, Fuentes, who takes 2 steps to his left and pulls it in for the second out. So 2 down here in the first for Kansas City, and Mayberry steps in. 5-64 on the pitch from Rule is a patient, and Mayberry gets a hold of this one, tomahawks it into the right center field gap. It's going to get down 4 extra bases. On his way to second is Mayberry as the throw comes in. He's got a 2-out double, and we'll check his auto steal. He's only a 3, so he would need a 2. Not going to happen. So Mayberry not straying too far from second as Amos Otis steps in. Otis in center, batting cleanup. That is a 5-0-8 patient, and Otis lays off this one. Rule being careful with the runner in scoring position on a base open, and Otis finds himself down at first. So first and second, 2 down for Darrell Porter. I do have work this morning, so it's going to be a crisper game. The catcher Porter bats left against the righty Rule, and everybody else for that matter. How about a 5-0-6? Another patient, and Porter lays off this one as well, and now Rule finds himself in a stew pot. The bases are loaded. So patience serving Kansas City well in the first. Here's Al Cowens with the bases loaded, 2 down. They'll take an out anywhere. The pitch to Cowens, 8-21. That's a tough pitch. And down on strikes. Rule painting the black. And Cowens is retired. That's the end of the inning. 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 left. And the Tigers coming up to bat against Jim Colburn. In real life, Colburn was 18-14, a 3.62 in 35 starts. This is his first start of this project. So here's Ron LaFleur, the center fielder leading off, righty and righty. My babe took the garbage out, or actually the recycling out. So the dogs are a little wild in the stands. That's a tough one. And the curveball over the plate of LaFleur swings over the top for the first out. One away. A strikeout for Colburn to start the game. If I can pick these up, we'll be all right. Here's Fuentes, switch hitter batting left. 1176 wheelhouse chance, but Fuentes not known for his power. Lofts this one out towards center. Otis is there, and there's 2 down. That brings up Steve Kemp. Pardon me, I skipped Ogilvy. Oh, what's going on? Hold on. I might not have the right lineup. Ogilvy, Staub, Thompson, Kemp. Somehow they got switched. I think that was from last game, sorry. May, Rodriguez, and Veryzer. All right, so paying attention is a good thing. So it's Ogilvy stepping up with 2 outs. How about a 484 in play? And this will be on the ground towards second base, handled there by White, and over to first to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning. And we'll head to the second with no score. Sip of coffee. Nice full cup. I could be scoring this on Digital to Diamond at the same time, but I've elected to pay attention to the chat, of which there is none as of yet, but that's okay. And it's going to be Lecoq, Patek, and White coming up. Here's Lecoq, bats left. That's a 950. If you hadn't figured it out, we go red-white. That's a defense check. It's going to be possible error on the second baseman. Didn't write those down, but they're quick enough to check. Playing second for Detroit is Fuentes. And he's an E2. E2, so we'll roll for the error against the ballpark chart. So up to 54 is going to be an error, otherwise it's an out. It's going to be an error, and that'll be a 1-base error. So Fuentes boots it, and Lecoq, the leadoff batter, will be on here in the second. Lecoq has a steal of 3. We use the auto steal rules, so 6 won't do it. Rule steps off, and Lecoq back to the bag. Shortens his lead a bit. It'll be Patek coming up. Right-hander. 10:45 in play. And a line drive. This time, Fuentes makes the play at second for the first out of the inning. So runner on first, 1 down. Here's Frank White. White or righty with occasional power. 10:54 in play. Ground ball down to third. That's not going to be low enough for a double play with that 10. So it's fielded by Rodriguez. He goes the short way to Fuentes at second to get Lecoq, and White reaches on the fielder's choice. So 2 down. White a 5 auto steal. And there it is. So it's going to be an 11 against a B something. What's the arm for the catcher, May? His arm's a 2, so on the B2 chart, I'm not going to show it, but B2, and we've got an 11. That's actually always going to be stolen base plus E2. So he's got the base stolen, and it's possible May commits a throwing error. He does not. So White gets into scoring position with the stolen base. And now Brett will have an RBI chance as they reset. No balls, 1 strike on Brett. 9:51. Defense check again. Once again, it's going to be Fuentes at second. He was an E2, and that's an 06. Another error on Fuentes. That's going to get White over to third as he knocks it down, but can't pick it up. Drops it making the transfer, and everybody is safe. So 2 errors by Fuentes in the inning, and it's first and third with 2 down. And Hal McRae coming up, a dangerous hitter. 21 homers in real life. 462. Tough pitch, and McRae goes the other way with this one. Lost it toward right field. Over toward the line is Ogilvy, and makes the catch in stride to retire the side. So 2 errors do not cost them a run. Somehow. And Rule gets out of trouble. We'll go to the bottom of the second with no score. Colburn will face 4, 5, 6. Staub, Thompson, and Kemp. Here's Rusty. 10:21. Patient and a base on balls. So Staub will head down to first. His steal's only a 2, but I roll it every time. 4 don't do it. Staub with a short lead. And here's Thompson. About a 795. Five's up there, but it's there, trust me. In play. And lofted to right. Thompson pulls it, but gets under it. And now so does Cowens for the first out. One away. Another lefty coming up here, Steve Kemp. Loaded lefties in the middle of the lineup here. One down, one on. How about a 12-14 in play? And that's a chopping ground ball through the right side. A base hit. Coming in on it quickly and making the pick is Cowens. Stop around second, but they'll hold him as the throw comes in. So first and second with one down. And here's lefty Milt May, the catcher. His first at bat of the day. 5-63 is a tough pitch. Ground ball shortstop. That could be two, and it looks like it's going to be. Patek grabs it, flips to second, where White makes the turn, and in time for the 6-4-3 double play to get out of the inning. So 2 men on to no man on, and everybody's out. No score after 2. We head for the third. And it's between innings. It's time for another sip of coffee. This set up easier than I thought it would this morning. I figured I'd get a quick game in. Well, here's Mayberry. He's 1 for 1 with a double. Rule delivers. That is a 285 patient. Not that patient as he grounds this one towards second. Fuentes with no problem this time. Over to first to retire Mayberry for the first out. Here's Otis. How about a 5-46 patient? And he lays off, and that's a base on balls. So Rule having a little bit of control problems. That's the second time Otis has walked, and he's got a 5 steal. JT Dutch, what's up, brother? Slept very good, walked the dogs, have about an hour to kill, so just playing some baseball, man. No auto steal for Otis on the 6. And that'll bring up Porter. Darrell walked his first time up. 1 out, 1 on, top of the third. Here's Porter. 9-0-4, defense check. That is going to be range first base. Thompson is the batter. 85 is probably, I don't even think I need to check him, because the range here goes up to 69, so that will be an out to the first baseman. Let's see what kind of out. Fielder's choice. So Thompson fields it, fires down to the shortstop Veryzer, who tags the bag to retire Otis. 3-6, and Porter reaches on the fielder's choice with 2 outs. Darrell will be on first. How you been doing, JT? Everything good, man? I'm suddenly losing these dice. No auto steal for Porter, if you're wondering. He had a 2, I rolled a 6. And here's Cowens. Cowens struck out his first time up. How about a 3-0-1? Wheelhouse, this is trouble. Cowens gets a hold of it, drives it to deep left field. Going back is Kemp. Never mind, ladies and gentlemen. That is over the fence and about 4 rows deep. A solid line drive homer to left field by Cowens. He hit 23 in the regular season. I think that's his first this year in 3 games. And a 2-run shot puts the Royals ahead 2-0. I didn't do a sound check. I probably should. Hey, sound's working. Well, that'll bring up Lecoq, who reached on an error with 2 outs here, top of the third. Royals suddenly ahead 2-0. 8-76 is a tough pitch, and this one will be a fly ball center field. Coming in is LaFleur, and makes the catch in stride on his way to the dugout. 4 to third out. But the Royals pick up 2 and lead 2-0. We'll head to the bottom of the third. Colborn will face Rodriguez to lead things off, followed by Veryzer and LaFleur. Here's Aurelio. 7-0-5 in play. That's probably going to be a base hit. It is. A line drive up the middle to Hopper into center field. And Rodriguez is on with a leadoff single. Brett leading off means Willie Wilson hadn't yet joined the club. I guess so. Does he come in at 77 or is it another season? I actually don't know. So that was a steal check for Rodriguez. Nothing doing. Just missed the 3 with the 4. And here's Veryzer. He's a good bunter. And not much of a hitter. Is this a bunt situation? I don't think so, down by 2. They're trying to get a base hit and get a big inning going. 486 on the pitch from Colburn is an in play. And that's grounded down to short. Fielded there by Patek. Flips to White. And on to first. Mayberry tags the bag. 6-4-3. Colburn getting the benefit of another double play. And now there's 2 outs. Bottom of the 3rd. And LaFleur coming up. September call-up. Oh, nice. You doing fine? Done with the night shift and back home warming up. Good deal, brother. Yeah, I got to get to work in about an hour and a half. So I got time. Time enough to get through this game and shower and stuff. So 11:45, a wheelhouse. And this one is hard hit into left field. Drops in front of Lecoq for a 2-out single. Wait, why do I have LaFleur up? Oh, hold on. 11:45, still going to be wheelhouse. Still going to be a single for Fuentes. Pardon me. Got distracted by the chat. So Fuentes on it first. His auto steals a 3. Not happening. And that'll bring up Ogilvy. Then grounded out his first time up. 1 run first, 2 down. Here's a 12. That's an in play against Colburn, and a 65. Going to be another grounder to short. Should be no problem for Patek, and he fires over to first to retire the side. So 1 hit, 1 left. After 3 books, it's 2-0 at Kansas City. Colburn is a righty. Did I misspeak? Did I look at the wrong side? Oh, I did look at the wrong side. Shit. You are correct. Well, 36. He still would have been a single, but thank you for catching that. Thank you very much. It's hard to pay attention when the coffee has not yet kicked in. You're more awake than I am. So here's Patek leading off. 0 for 1 so far in the 4th. How about a 4? That's a 3. I have it colored in so I know when to look at wild pitches. Doesn't matter with nobody on, though. So a 6-31 in play, and that's a base hit against Rule. So Patek with a leadoff single. And he's a pretty good steal chance. 8B. 8B. Let's see if he can get the lead. He cannot. He might get picked, actually. Well, the 50 is pretty high against the hold 6. But Rule whirls and throws over, and Patek is back. Just safe. Just safe. So Patek shortens his lead up a little bit. And here's White. Frank reached on a fielder's choice, stole a base. Patek at first. How about an 11:35 ballpark chance? As we noted, that Detroit is hitter-friendly. That ballpark chance is a wheelhouse for right or left-handed batters. White a righty. How about a 27? And that's a base hit for White. Hit solidly into the gap around second as Patek. He'll make it over to third as the throw comes in. Now we have first and second. Here's my house rule. I still roll for auto steal with first and third and less than 2 outs. But it's got to be as though they were stealing third. So it's got to be under a 5 and doubles. Well, it's a 6, so moot point, but I like to explain that. Because sometimes guys do try to steal in that situation. And it's not game-threatening. Like if it was in the 9th and the run was meaningless, you probably have defensive indifference. But here, they would have thrown down. But White does not get the lead in any case. First and third with nobody out. And here's George Brett, who's 0 for 2. 8-0-2 is a tough pitch, and Brett chases the curveball. A little overzealous. The youngster Brett, 24 years old. And down on strikes for the first out. Well, now a double play will get him out of it. Rule thinking about doing the Colburn special so far today. From the stretch to McRae, who's 0 for 2. How about a 7? In play, 28. Well, that's 27, so this is a pop-up on the infield. Moving over under it is Fuentes. And he'll make the play for the second out. Fuentes has been busy today. A couple of errors and a lot of chances. So 2 down, still first and third. Patek dancing nervously down the line and back, trying to distract Rule, but Rule could give a shit. He's thinking about the after-dinner steak. Here's Mayberry, who's 1 for 2 with a double. How about a 426? Tough, and down on strikes. Mayberry chases the high cheese. Surprised him with a high fastball on a 1-2 count. And Rule gets out of trouble. 2 left on and no runs. It's 2-0. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Here's Colborne. Colborne will face the lefty connections, Staub, Thompson, and Kemp. A lot of lefties in the middle of this Detroit lineup, at least as it's structured today. Give it a 454. In play, probably too high it is. Grounder down to third. There's Brett over to first. In plenty of time to retire Staub, 1 away. Thompson. That's an 8 back there. That's a 7-18 in play again. This one's going to trickle through the left side for a base hit. A nubber off the bat of Thompson. Kind of got out in front of it, but still managed to make contact and drives a worm burner through the left side of the infield. So Thompson's on. He's only a steal 2. Let's just double check. Nope. Only going to happen about 1 every 36 times. And here's Steve Kemp, who's 1 for 1. Die is on its way to center field. 664 in play again. This could be 2. Grounded down to short. It's going to be fielded there once again by Patek. Over to White and on to first. Patek, White, and Mayberry. It's like Tinker to Evers to Chance today. The 3rd double play induced by Colborne. And that'll get out of the inning. So a quick 4th inning for Jim Colborne. And after after 4 in the books, it is 2-0 Royals over Tigers. I think we skipped our sip of coffee. JT, it's really my favorite game at this point. I do have Strat back on the table this week, and I'm really enjoying the Super Advanced. I think I've kind of graduated. Became a little bored with the basic. I was looking for a little bit more depth, I guess. And I would like to try Season Ticket. I think Season Ticket's my next one up because I can play it for free. Because all my money's going to the con this year. So, but here's Amos Otis. He's walked twice, no official ABs, but on base percentage of 1,000 today. 642 is an in play. Well, that's over. He pops this one up on the infield. And over under it is the 3rd baseman Rodriguez in fair territory to make the out. But yeah, it's a nice, easy playing system that gives you sufficient depth, and I love the auto steal. I hate the steal system in Strat overall. Not hate. It's very inaccurate and basic, and even advanced, it's not great. And it's laborious to me in Super Advanced. And I still don't steal with guys who have a few attempts, you know what I mean? But a low chance. So the guys who like maybe stole 5 bases and got caught 7 times. Those guys get like no attempts in my leagues usually. Maybe 1 if the catcher and pitcher hold is high enough. They might get 1 or 2 chances. But I only steal with them in the most optimal conditions. So I really like that. The auto steal here kind of works and gets everybody evened out. In any case, here's Darryl Porter. 0 for 1, a walk and a run scored for Darryl. 794. It's an in play, and that's going to be a fly ball to right. Should be no problem for Ogilvy. He settles under it, and it's in the glove for the 2nd out of the inning. So that'll bring up Cowens. Cowens is homered today, has accounted for both runs, a 2-run homer back in the 3rd. The due-out pitch to Cowens, it's a 679, another in play, and another fly ball to center. Hit well, but not that well. Short of the track is LaFleur. And a 1-2-3 inning here for Rule. So the Tigers come up in the bottom of the 5th, trying to make up those 2 runs against Colborne, who's been benefited from the ground ball double play today. Here's Milt May. May grounded into one of those double plays back in the 2nd. He's 0 for 1. 857 is a tough pitch. This one lofted out toward left. Settling under it is Lecoq, and that's the 1st out of the inning. Aurelio Rodriguez up to bat, 1 for 1 today with a single. Tough pitch, and down on strikes is Rodriguez. Colborne painting the outside corner, and Rodriguez thought it was a ball, but shakes his head and walks back to the dugout in disgust. So 2 quick outs, and here's LaFleur, who's 0 for 2. 782, that's another in-play option. That's what Colborne does well, is he gets the ball in play, lets his fielders do their job, and they do it here as Patek picks it and fires over to Mayberry for the 3rd out. A 1-2-3 for Colborne. We'll head to the 6th. Moving along crisply here, and I get to drink more coffee. My favorite part of the game so far. I'm pretty happy with this little display setup. Very easy to set up without screwing up my whole... I always have the laptop here for Digital Diamond when I'm playing by myself. So it's pretty easy to just add the score sheet in the middle and move along. I'm not scoring it right now in Digital Diamond. I'll do that after. But anyway, here's Lecoq, 0 for 2, to lead off the 6th for the Royals, who are ahead by 2. How about a 978 defense check? Possible error on the shortstop, Veryzer. 74, I think, is out of all the error range, so we don't even have to check Veryzer. Yep, 63 is the top, so that's going to be an out to short somehow. Line drive right at Veryzer, and he takes it in. Lecoq retired for the first out. Keep that up there. And here's Patek, 1 for 2. 540, patient. And Patek with a line drive the other way through the right side for a base hit. Fielded by Ogilvy. He'll throw it in, and Patek holds it first. Patek again, a really good base stealing chance. 8. Well, there's a 2, so he's going to get an auto steal chance. 46. He's a B against May's arm. If I can find him. Arm is a 2. B2, 46. We check our chart, and 43 to 99 is safe, so Patek has this one stolen. Into scoring position with nobody out. And Frank White coming up. Game show host Peter Marshall's son, Pete Lecoq. I didn't know that. It's an interesting bit of trivia. And we have a member of the tabletop community named Peter Marshall, who I think puts out one of the e-zines for Sports Sims. I don't know if it's Sports Sim Magazine or another one, but I think it's the other one. Well, I'm not sure. 502 is a patient, and White lays off and draws a walk. So that puts runners at first and second, and I'm about to sneeze. With 1 out here. Pardon me. Still coming, but Brett will come up first, 0 for 3. Runner in scoring position here. Again, Rule would like to do his Colborne impersonation and get a grounder. Having a 994, never mind, that's defense instead. 94 is going to be a fly ball center field. Tough play for LaFleur. Possible error on LaFleur. 44 is squarely in the middle. He's an E1. E1, let's see what that means. And it's off his glove. Oh, no. So a 3 on the error. Oh my, that's going to be deep trouble. It's off LaFleur's glove and bounds away from him. Patek will score. Around third is White. They're waving him home. LaFleur finally finds the ball. Brett on his way to third, and he'll be in there on a 3-base error. 3-base error. Brett has gotten base twice in errors. His young man's speed is an asset, making defenders make tougher plays. But LaFleur must have just dozed on that one. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, say he lost it in the sunshine, but boy, oh boy, that was a costly error for LaFleur. I wrote E3. It's actually an E8. 3 bases, but E8. So LaFleur can't believe it. Neither can his teammates, and it's now 4-0. And Brett's 90 feet away with another run with just 1 out. And McRae has come up. McRae 0 for 3. A couple of line drives to second and a fly ball to center. Like to cash in the RBI here. That's a 3. Wheelhouse 10. Boy, does he ever cash in the RBI. Down the line. High ball near the pole, and it's fair. It's gone. Yes, the infield would have been in. You're right, Judge. But it doesn't matter because McRae gets under that one, just pulls it down the line, and it squeaks past the foul pole. A 2-run home run, and boy, is this error turned out to be a big problem. Should have been the second out. Now it's a 4-run inning on the 2-run home run for McRae. And I think that's it for Rule. That's going to be all for Vern. Not entirely his fault, but he's given up 6. That's going to be enough. So we'll have a relief pitcher for the Tigers in 1 moment. And he's pretty much coming in for mop-up duty because it's 6-0. Rule will take his place at the back of the rotation. Hope to do better next time. Yeah, let's see who's going to mop it up. Could be Crawford. Yeah, it's going to be Crawford. He's the only pitcher who hasn't been used. And he's probably going to try to go the rest of the way. So Rule goes 5 1/3, gives up 6 runs. Not all of them earned. In fact, most of them not earned. I think 3 earned. We're going to call it 3 earned. I gotta add it up. It might actually be more than that. I think it might be 5 earned. But we'll do it after the game. In any case, here's Mayberry. Crawford done with his warm-ups. Lefty on lefty now. 8:40. Tough pitch. And Mayberry down on strikes. So Crawford comes in. Looks sharp right away. His first appearance of the season. And there's 2 outs now. Amos Otis. 2 walks. 0 for 1 in the books. 992 is a patient. Lofted, hard on the ground toward short. Over is Veryzer. Makes the pickup and the throw in time. So Crawford comes on, gets 2 quick ones. But the damage is done. A big 3-base error by Ron LaFleur. And then a homer by McRae. And the Royals pick up 4 to make it 6-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. And Colburn, who's pitching very well, can breathe a sigh of relief and not worry about being perfect. LaFleur is out, by the way. It's going to be Fuentes, Ogilvy, and Staub leading off. Due up this inning. Here in the 6th, they've got some ground to make up. They split the first 2 games of the series, if you're wondering. Each team has a 1-1 record. I need a little bit of coffee. And a time check. It's 5 to 8. I'm on perfect time here. How about a 6:42 in play? And this one is popped up on the infield. Brett is over. Steps into foul territory and retires Fuentes on the pop-up. 1 away. Here's Ogilvy. Ogilvy 0 for 2. 2 ground balls. How about a 9:43 patient? And this one's chopped into the gap. It's a high fly ball going back toward the wall. It's over Cowan's head. 1 hops off the base of the wall and settles down there. Cowens has to run and chase it down. Ogilvy around second on his way to third, and he'll be in there with a stand-up triple as the throw comes in and is cut off. So Ogilvy trying to get something going for his team. Oscar would perhaps like to go in the crate, but Babe started working for the day. So maybe their first run 90 feet away, Ogilvy at third. They're not going to throw the infield in. They'll take it out anywhere and concede the run. And here's Rusty Staub. Staub 0 for 1 with a walk today. 7:49 in play, and ground ball down to third. Just want to check. Ogilvy has sufficient speed to not make them want to even think about making a play. He was off at the crack of the bat. Brett over to first, and Staub will get a ground out RBI, and the Tigers are finally on the board with a run. So it's 6-1. They give up an out for a run. If they do that the rest of the way, they won't make it. And here's Jason Thompson. Thompson's 1 for 2. Singled in the 4th. This time an 8.99. Tough pitch and fly ball to right. Ranging over his Cowens. Medium deep and makes the play to retire the side. So they pick up 1, but the Tigers trail by a score of 6-1 as we head to the 7th. Crawford comes out. Just realized he will have to be fatigued in the 9th if he goes the distance and doesn't give up any runs.
You can see these babies.
But they'll probably let him finish either way. Unless he just gets shellacked. Or they come back. It's early. Still 3 innings to go. A lot of baseball to be played. Here's Porter. 0 for 2. Scored a run and walked. How about a 3-0-2? That's a wheelhouse, and that's trouble. Porter gets a hold of this one, and they get the run right back as Darryl Porter launches this one into right field. First pitch fastball, and Porter didn't miss. Lefty on lefty, it don't matter. Porter says it's 7-1, baby. No, I usually don't look at the real-life scores, Dutch, so thank you very much for the... Looks like we're playing to type here. Things are going according to real-life plan. It's now 7-1. Cowens due up. He's homered, 1 for 3. 7:09. Tough pitch, and that's a strikeout. Cowens down on strikes. First out of the inning here in the 7th. And that brings up Lecoq. Does that mean he grew up in Hollywood, Pete Lecoq? Interesting. 0 for 3. 862. Tough pitch, and Lecoq stays back and flicks this one over the shortstop. A base hit. Just out of reach for Veryzer. And Lecoq is on at first. They won't be looking to steal here. They've got a 6-run lead, and here's Patek. Runner on first. Patek 2 for 3. 821. That's tough pitch, and down on strikes. Low and outside, and Patek went reaching. Trying a little bit too hard. There's 2 down. Now that brings up Frank White. White reached base all 3 times. A fielder's choice, a single, and a walk. A scored a run and stole a base. Active day for Frank. Hasn't really made too many plays in the field, has he? No, he's got a few. He's been involved in all those double plays, obviously. So, yeah, Joe. 781. A tough pitch. And this one's lofted to center. Should be routine for Otis, and it is. Pardon me, not for Otis. For LaFleur. Well, nothing's routine for LaFleur, apparently, but he makes this catch. But the Royals get one back and maintain that 6-run advantage. It's 7-1 as we go to the 7th inning stretch. And you know what that means, folks. More coffee for JC. Here's Kemp. Stevie's 1 for 2. Single and a ground and a double play. 503. That's a strikeout by Colburn. Breaks off a breaking ball, and Kemp didn't know what to do with it. His knees buckled as he watched it go over the plate. Nice. Colborn's got it working today. Here's May. May also 0 for 2. 634. Suddenly allergies. In play, and it's going to be a pop-up on the infield. No problem for Brett, who comes in a few steps onto the grass and makes the play for the second out. And here's Rodriguez. Aurelio looking to get his second hit of the day. He's 1 for 2. 1165. Wheelhouse. This one is hit well, but on the ground. He got under it a little, ended up on top of it, and drives this one. A dirt burner to White, who flips it over to first in time to retire Rodriguez. Have I not batted Veryzer the entire time? What the truck, Bob? Have I been one off the whole game? Are you kidding me? No wonder they're losing. They've been in an advantage. Well, actually, they've been in kind of an advantage. They haven't let... Shit. Well, shit. That's a pretty bad one. I don't think I ever did that before. Huh. How weird. That would be why I had them off. Yeah. I screwed it up a few times. Well, you know what? I roll forward and I'll figure it out after. Well, shit. We'll go to the 9th. Pardon me, we'll go to the 8th. Now I'm skipping innings. This has gone to shit quick.
What's in your coffee?
What? Nothing, unfortunately. Not enough caffeine, apparently. No telling what the score would be if noted slunger Tommy Veryzer got his hacks. That's accurate. That is accurate. Well, we'll figure it out after, guys. I tend to roll forward and not to worry too much about mistakes because over the course of a season replay, mistakes will be made. So here's Brett. 668 in play. That's going to be a ground ball down to short. Won't be the first time I made a mistake on stream, and certainly won't be the last. Brett is retired. Here is McRae. 1139. Defense check. Possible error on Crawford. He's a 4. That's definitely an error. 06. So it's been an error-filled ball game. So Crawford picks it, fires over to first, and throws it over the first baseman's head. Is that right? I'm having problems. There should be a single plus an error. So single. And the E1. So tough play for Crawford. He probably should have let that one go up the middle, but he doesn't because he's confused why nobody let his teammate Veryzer bat today. McRae on second now on the single and an error. You didn't notice you were watching the whole time. I don't know why. I just completely skipped that line. That's pretty weird. But hey, John Mayberry, 7-17. Tough pitch. Down on strikes. You noticed when I went to the wrong side of the card, too, for the result. But we didn't notice that I skipped the 9-hitter for Detroit the whole damn game. Interesting. That's a new rule in the league. If you're trailing, your number 9 hitter doesn't have to bat. Shit. Oh well. Amos Otis coming up. 498. That's going to be an out of some sort. Fly ball left field, and that does it for the 8th. So Crawford will be fatigued when he comes out in the 9th. If he comes out in the 9th. But I think he will, because everybody else is already on the verge of fatigue for the Tigers. They have not had a good bullpen game, so probably going to let Crawford try to mop this one up. But first, Colburn's going to come out and pitch the 8th.
Oscar.
4 errors for the Tigers. Ernie Harwell's disgusted. It's errors all around. The Tigers were cheating. Nobody realized it. They're still losing. Well, see, Veryzer's due up now. Okay. Pinch hitter? Could you imagine? The guy doesn't get to bat. They finally realize he has to bat. They're like, no, come back. We're going to pinch hit for you. No, screw it. It's 7-1. Veryzer gets a hack. It's 10-24. Patient. And look at that. He fucking singles. He finally gets a chance, and he gets a base hit. So Veryzer on it first. Lead off single. He's like, I could have done that the whole game, guys. It would have been amazing. Here's LaFleur. 4-34 in play, and that's a base hit. Uh-oh. Colburn suddenly in a little bit of trouble. That's what happens when you let number 9 Tommy V hit. Of course he got it. Of course he did. Yeah. He might have the game of his life. He's 1 for 1, and he might have walked 3 times prior to that. We'll see. That might be the fix. But here's Fuentes. Tito with first and second. My dog's losing his shit because he doesn't want to be in his crate, even though he really wanted to be in his crate.
I don't understand anymore.
Now his whole thing's off. I think it's because I'm still home. I don't know. This is going to be a ground ball down to third by Fuentes. Is the 8 high enough? No, it's not. So Brett will go to second to get LaFleur.
Holy shit.
Veryzer over to third, and Fuentes retired on the fielder's choice. So
All right, psycho.
first and third here in the 8th with 1 out. Oh, wait a second. For the barking of the dogs.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering, that's the Tom Veryzer fan club. They're very upset that he did not get 3 of his at-bats.
Stop.
They're like, actually 2 of his at-bats. You're like, he should be 3 for 3. Today was the day he was going to go 2 for 2 with 2 homers. Oh, thanks, Judge. No, that's actually Midge barking. Oscar's pretty chill. He doesn't bark too much. At least not at us.
Stop.
Midge barks fairly incessantly. But yeah, yesterday was Oscar's 7th birthday. He had a nice birthday. Midge, you psychopath.
So ridiculous.
Well, shit, folks. We're having fun, and that's what it's all about.
Shush.
Hey, Jay.
Shush.
Hey, Jay.
Relax.
Midgie, the assistant vice president of the Tom Veryzer fan club, is really incensed about the treatment of Veryzer today. He could have been a contender. He would have been a star if they just pitched to him. That's what I get for skipping Tom Veryzer. That's right. Yeah. Well, first and third, Ogilvy coming up. He has got a triple and scored the only run today for Detroit. Let's see if he can make this an interesting game. Yeah, she's really letting the clubhouse manager and the umpires have it. Barking up the right tree, so to speak. 877. Tough. Fly ball to center. That's medium deep. Let's see if it's deep enough for the speedy Veryzer. Veryzer's going to tag on the fly ball to center, and he will score to make it a 7-2 ball game. Hell, we'll give Fuentes second on that one. Trying to make up for the damage we've done to the Tigers here and give them a shot. This gun's going to be played under protest. But 2 outs, runner on second for Staub now. Rusty is 0 for 2 with a walk. 7:08 in play. That's a base hit. And Fuentes around third with 2 outs. He will score. And suddenly it is, well, shit, Colburn's tired. And they're going to have to go to the pen. Colburn with his just desserts. Actually, I'll tell you what. In deference to the massive injustice we've done to the Tom Veryzer fans at home, we're going to let Colburn stay in for the 8th and see what Detroit can do with that. So runner on first, 2 runs in. It's a 7-3 ball game now. Staub on first, and here's Jason Thompson. Colburn will pitch fatigued. Veryzer's the X factor. If he comes up second time in this inning, you can bet it's going to be a tie game. 876. Well, 8 is a tough. 76 says that turns into a wheelhouse for Thompson. Got to re-roll him. 90. That's a really high roll. And Thompson pounds it into the ground. Fielded by White. Goes the short way to first, and that's the inning. But they get 2 back. Colburn going to gut it out and try to go for the complete game to see if Detroit can get vengeance for the Veryzer remission. The Veryzer incident, as it was called in April 10th, 1977, historical facts show that, according to the Mandela effect, Tom Veryzer should have batted twice. They skipped over him, unbeknownst to everyone on the field, except for Midge, the vice president of the Tom Veryzer fan club. And as a result, we had to do some creative redistribution of outs. But instead, it's going to be 7-3 as we head to the 9th. Crawford's in there. He's tired. He will face Darryl Porter, who's homered, walked, and gotten out the other 2 times. Another Southern California boy, Jason Thompson. Everybody wants to date a starlet in the 70s. But Steve Garvey was banging them all, so good luck. 5:59. That's an in-play, no adjustment necessary. 59 against the lefty. It's going to be a fly ball left field. No problem there for, you know what? Tom Veryzer going back from shortstop makes the catch in the outfield. Veryzer getting revenge. He just steps right in front of Steve Kemp and makes that catch. Turns a fly ball to left into a pop out to short in the box score. What the hell? Steve Garvey's not my Padre? No, but he's probably a lot of other people's. Thanks for the setup. Dum-dum. Here's JT Dutch, a.k.a. Al Cowens, 1 for 4 today. I have you batting now, Dutch. Everything's going to shit in this one. We're in a multiverse situation here. It's a 6:32. Another in play. No adjustment. This one's a base hit. Driven past Veryzer. He's the center of everything. The center of the universe. All right. Now it's a 4-run game. Cowens might steal. He won't. And that brings up California boy himself, Pete Lecoq, who's 1 for 4. Don't call him Dick. It's 4:09. Tough pitch. Stays tough. I got to re-roll the tough result, though, due to fatigue factor. And Lecoq is down on strike, swinging with the wrong bat. This one's jumped the shark, folks, and I still have to go to work today. Here's Patek with 2 outs and a man on first. 8:15. Now that's a tough pitch. Still going to be tough. We roll the tough thanks to fatigue. 13. That wasn't a great roll, but that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes they slide, baby. And Crawford guts through. When the hell did... That's where he came out. My notations on my score sheets are different. So he went 5 1/3, which means Crawford went 3.2. Rule stands to lose it at the moment. But they've got a chance now, and Veryzer is due up 4th in this inning, folks. Sorry, JT. It's going bad now. Colburn comes out. He's looking a little tired, worse for the wear, but he'll face Kemp, May, and Rodriguez. Maybe. Here's Kemp. It's an 8, if you're wondering. 8's all around. Tough. That's a wheelhouse chance based on the fatigue.
Lay down.
Against a righty. Got to re-roll that one. It's cocked. That's off. 75. Fly ball center field. Ranging over is Otis. This one's too deep for Veryzer to get to. And Also, Veryzer's on the team at bat, not on the field. Definitely off the rails. Yeah. That's what I get for trying to broadcast in the morning. Here's Milt May. Will May bat for himself? Yeah, he bats okay against righties. How about a 4? That's an in-play. 0-8 is a single from May. A line drive, left field. So Milt keeps hope alive. Not much of a stolen base guy. And I think we're going to pinch hit for Rodriguez. See what options we have. Mankowski is definitely one. They need base runners, not power right now. Mankowski's the best option by far. Detroit, not much of a bench, frankly. A long-standing tradition of the Tigers playing their best players.
Stop. You wanted to go in, you went in. You wanted to come out, came out. Sit down.
So Mankowski comes in, never heard of him. Colburn with a runner on first and 1 out, looking for the signature double play. All of a sudden, the dice are cocking. Everything's going to shit here. 8:55, tough pitch. 55 is going to be an in-play result. That could be exactly what Colburn was looking for. And I rolled another 55 on the in-play right-hander. Ground ball down to third. Brett will go the short way. He'll only get 1. He retires May. So Mankowski on the fielder's choice. And you know what that means, folks. Tommy V coming to bat. Making up for lost time. It's going to come down to Veryzer to keep the game alive. They need 4 runs. He can only hit a 2-run homer. He does have power against righties. He hit 2 homers in 191 at-bats against right-handers in the real life. Wish I'd got to put the 0 up here. So Veryzer steps in. He's 1 for 1 today, and he has an indeterminate number of other results that happened in a different dimension. But now that he's back in our world, let's see what happens. Colburn sets from the stretch, ignoring Mankowski. How about an 8? That's a 6. That was on the 6. 8, 16. 8 is tough. 16 is tough. That's not going to be good. But a 49-55 or 48-55 will keep the game alive. No, Veryzer down on strikes. So Tommy V is the final out of the inning and the game. Nothing doing for Detroit. We actually gave them a slight advantage, even though it feels like we cheated them. But who knows what Veryzer would have done. Let's see. Chances are we actually rolled his at bat at least once. I think we rolled the first one, skipped the floor, is how that went. So that was really probably where we screwed them. That could have been a good inning, too, because that was a 6-4-3. That was probably Veryzer. And then LaFleur probably didn't get his at bat there. But I'm going to figure out how to rectify this for statistical accuracy, or at least statistical believability. And I'm going to get in the shower and go to work. So thanks for hanging out, JT, and anybody else who might have been watching the stream. Little morning baseball for a change. Been thinking about trying to do that a little bit more often. I usually play a couple games in the morning, but try to get an occasional morning broadcast in. Hey, JT, enjoy some rest after work. You have to work tonight? If not, maybe I'll see you later. I think we'll have Strat on the table tonight around 6:30, 7 o'clock. So, if not earlier. So, you all have a good day. Have a happy Friday. It's Jeans Day. Oh, shit, babe. It's Jeans Day.
Jeans Day, babe.
Isn't that sad that I get excited for Jeans Day? I'm working at the same place 21 years, and they're like, hey, once in a while we buy you pizza, and today you get to wear jeans. Woo! Oh, the things we live for. The things we live for. Well, anyway, folks, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for putting up with my inconsistent play calling and terrible management style. We'll see you next time tonight with some 1998 Stratomatic as we leap 21 years into the future, into the heart of the steroid era. Have a good day. JC Sports Replays signing off. Don't forget to like and subscribe.